to peck me. Oh, what are you doing? All right, come on then. Hmm? You get no food yesterday, huh? Good, Francois. Look, there you go. There's some there. Let me just spread this out because otherwise they're just going to chase you up, and you know they are. Let's just get some for the boys over here, and then we'll concentrate on you girls. Let's get these mad guys going. Right, there you go. You want some, Mama? You gonna let it feed? You're a good boy, innit? Looking good today, girl. You're looking good. Yeah. Oh, just trying to say something nice. Maybe a little stroke. There you go. You're the only one that lets me do that consistently. Do you like it or do you tolerate it? That's the question. I like when I see a little tail feathers spread like that. That's good. I kind of take it as is that a happy or a contented kind of thing? Come on then, sweetie pie. Look, she comes along. Come on, sweetheart. Come on. You gotta be brave. You gotta get in fast. Boys aren't gonna let you. All right. Let's see if we can give her husband some. No? All right. I'm trying to scare you off, buddy. Oh, look, I'm going to put it there for you. I want to kind of chill out a bit more today if I can. Come on. Come on, it's here for you. Come on. Are you coming? Oh, don't chase her. Look, here. Just eat the food. Don't chase her. Right, there you go. What's the matter, sweetie pie? Hmm? What's the matter? Oh. Apparently they're doing some filming around here today. More suspicious when they have got these giant camera crews turn up and then you don't quite know where they're filming. seems so well organized and well funded. Huh. Yeah, they're all enjoying the food. They're hungry. Doesn't matter how much food I bring, they can always eat more. Whoa, look at the go. He's got 3, 4, 5 in his mouth. Well, I think I think I'm kind of getting a bit bored of filming these things now. I feel like I kind of shared the experience with you all, and I mean, I might order some camera glasses, which I've had to kind of work out which ones. The Meta glasses don't work, but the Mentra glasses do, which you can only get in America at the moment. I'm thinking about ordering those. Um, but like I said, I've kind of I think I've kind of done what I wanted to do with these videos, just which is just share the experience that I have in the morning. It detracts slightly from my experience videoing it, but it's also good in a way because I come to the river in the morning to start my day, to ground myself, and sometimes just think. And sometimes thinking in your head's good. Sometimes talking it out with a friend on a video to AI. Sometimes like a second party is good because the other party will hold you accountable, whether that's actually or you're conscious of what you're saying. Whereas when you're just thinking things in your head, you're free to think whatever you want, and you're free to think you're as right or as wrong as you want. Mhm. Yeah, makes sense. I guess I'm just kind of weighing up right now. Um, you know, I don't know how much more of a sense I can give you guys of these of what goes on here. For me, it's certainly a journey. I mean, I've been doing this for I don't maybe a year now, and I've learned so much from uh, coming down here, sitting with these guys, and it it has really reset me as a human being. Obviously, I do a lot of the work and thought and sort of intentional stuff, but these guys have been a massive help to me. Just watching them, observing them, because these all live in the present moment. And apart from, the odd one has a bit of trauma, you can clearly tell. Some of them get messed up worse than others, but they mostly live in the present moment. And I think that's roughly what that's roughly why I'm here, to learn that. I've never been that my whole life. I would imagine a lot of people aren't. A lot of us aren't present, and a lot of us have been deliberately drawn further and further away from that. So I think I'm gonna think on it, but this will probably be my last video. Um, Anybody who's seen any of these or they've been useful to you, I'm pleased. It was kind of useful to me for a while. Hmm. Yeah, I used to talk to random animals as if they were humans. Yeah, I'm not sure if I taught them as if they're humans. That would be interesting. Um, but I can connect with them. Less so when I've got the camera with me. Like they've kind of gradually gotten used to it, but I'm so conscious about what I'm showing, you guys and stuff. So instead of just relaxing and being present in the moment. So yeah, and I guess that's the thing. And maybe if I put some glasses on my head and just forgot about it, that would be better. But yeah, I'm not sure I could capture it. I used to just take like video footage, and my plan was to sort of like just bundle it all together and make like a video or something. But I thought I didn't have enough footage, or I didn't sort of have the idea of what the video was going to be about. Well, not all of it anyway. But yeah, I think this could be the last one. But I've enjoyed doing it, and if anybody's found the videos useful, I'm pleased. I would encourage you to go out, sit in nature, befriend some wild animals. Look, look at the state of this guy. This is the kind of stuff. Oh, he just turned. He knew I was videoing him. Well, he turns back. I hope he turns back. He's like a drunk. He's like a drunk freaking sailor or something. Like, look at the state of him. Please turn round. Come on. He knows. What you're seeing from the front is so raggy. Can you see that? Maybe it's not quite doing it justice on the camera, but look at the clip of him. Shit like that just makes me laugh. Some of the stuff you see is so funny. Look at that. Like that's a female and male fight right there. And that is like she lost in that case, but she full on. That's a full on fight when they start spinning around like that. That's a full on strength battle. Some of the females here are tough. It also surprises me that they don't peck the rat tails when they come sort of poking out like that. You'd think they would think they were worms or something, and they would pick them out. The rats really aren't bothered. Everybody talks about diseases and stuff from the rats, and if you get anywhere near a rat, or if you swim in the same water as a rat, like fucking hell, the amount of rats I've friggin' had running over my hands and fucking nonsense. Disclaimer: don't go do it, because if you get sick, you'll friggin' blame me. But a lot of shit is fucking overrated, isn't it? Fear. fucking fear, man. And that's another thing that pulls you away from being present. Fear. It's what they want, innit? They want us living in a state of fear. What the fuck? Yeah, dude, if you've got any ducks or, wild birds near you, I mean, the only problem is it takes a long fucking time. It took me, ah, it was like 3 to 6 months of me feeding them. 3 months, maybe. 3 months of me feeding them before they would start to hand feed from me. And they would kind of do it one at a time. Like, we've got some swans here, and the swans have got babies, so they're further up or down the river at the moment. But the I think, was it the female or the male? I think it was the male. The male swan. One day he kind of turned and looked at me, and he looked me right directly. And although these guys have got eyes on the side of their head and they can kind of see all around, I think when they focus on something, they look forward, same that we do. And he kind of craned his neck and he looked right into my eyes. And I was like, whoop, what's going on? But it was like, I didn't think that actually. I thought that afterwards because it was such a deep connection. It was like when you're just drawn in and I think they did it to me because it's not something I can do, or is it? Yeah, they kind of drew me in. And then he made his, and then he kind of looked at me for a minute and we just locked eyes, me and this male swan, for about a minute. And then he kind of swam off. And I didn't think too much of it, but I was like, oh, that was weird. And then the next day, he came and hand fed from me. He like came over to me and he fed out of my hand. And I probably didn't even make the connection at the time. But then, a little bit later, so he would then hand feed from me. And then his partner, his female, would then hand feed from me. But then maybe a few days later, one of the ducks, one of the female ducks, she did the same thing, and she kind of looked at me, locked eyes with me for about a minute, and then again I thought nothing of it, and then the next day she hand fed from me, and then it was a month or two later after I'd been feeding like the female rat in the area, and I would feed her and she would come like around me. But then there was one day when she was in a burrow right at the bottom there. There's a little hole down there. Was she there? Oh no, actually she was under there, under that decking. And I was sat a bit closer, probably where that guy is, but higher up. And she kind of came out and she looked at me as well. And again, face forward, looked at me, locked on my eyes for a good minute or so. And then she began to hand feed from me from that point on. But once like one of the ducks hand fed from me, like more and more then started to. Um, but it was really strange. So that whole process took about 3 to 6 months for them to do that. Yeah, they do. They do seem to like hanging around. I mean, if this is the first time you see there's rats there as well, and there's about 10 baby rats. So if I don't know if you can see, but there's quite a few rats sort of just at my feet there, and every day they come at my feet. You might see the tails or you might see the movements and stuff. So every day, look. So every day they'll come and sit at my feet, and then sometimes two or three of them, and sometimes there's one or two will just come and sit here. If I put some big pellets there, they'll just sit there next to me. And there's a common pigeon, like a baby pigeon, who he's not here this morning, but often he'll just sit here, like right next to me. And when I first come in the morning, like they're all coming and eating out of my hands kind of thing. But once they're kind of satisfied a bit, they're not too bothered. And every day is different. Like, there can be some days where they're all going crazy, some, like, all of them are feeding off me, and then there's some days where just a few will do it. Yeah, I think so. That was a it, um now my energy's probably right, like I'm sitting in my parasympathetic nervous system. I don't have a lot of anxiety. I don't have a lot of tension in me. I don't mean them any harm at all. I'm not looking to get anything from them. I feel it's kind of an equal exchange. I come and feed them, and they give me a bit of company, and sometimes the pleasure of feeding from me, and sometimes occasionally they let me stroke them and stuff like that. But I feel like the knowledge that I get from it. I mean, it costs me a bit of money. I spend quite a bit of money on food for them, because I feed them a lot of food. But I feel it's an equal exchange. Is it maybe the knowledge? I'm paying for the knowledge. So I feel it's an exchange rather than me coming and taking from them. And I think maybe they sense that I'm not looking to hurt them. So I don't think they just intrinsically trust me from looking at me. I think they've just kind of worked it out, and over a period of time, they've just kind of gone, yeah, he's all right. He's all right. So they're just, whether they like having me around or they just, I mean, they certainly like me when I turn up with the food, but they're not bothered by me, I think. They just kind of think I'm like, I don't think they think I'm a duck, but I don't know. They just think I'm safe. I'm just fine. I'm no big deal. They wouldn't trust me with their life or anything, and they wouldn't come and sit on my lap or anything just yet. But they kind of, they just think I'm all right. I think I'm just probably like another animal that comes down here, and they've learned, what my tolerances are and whatnot. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think they have simpler brains than us. Well, obviously they do. Um, and I think from what I gather and what I think, they basically just think, they probably just associate it with small things. They'll associate, they have like probably simple concepts like danger, food, safety, warmth, things like that. And probably they've just got like they probably associate me with food, and they associate me with some of the females will associate me with safety, because when it's like the height of breeding season, some of these females get absolutely hammered. Like the males will run like trains on them, 20 male ducks, one after the other, and it's brutal. And a lot of the time, these girls are screaming to get away. Um, Not all of them, just some of them. Some of them have got strong mates that protect them, but they will run to me and sit next to me. And if I can keep them calm and they don't panic and fly away, then I can kind of protect them. But that's only once I'm there. As soon as I'm gone, or as soon as she flies off, they just grab her on the other side of the river. They drag her in the bushes and stuff. So yeah. So sometimes the girls will consider me as safety. Um, some of them might think of me as a little bit dominant, because um, I won't let them attack the females in my presence. And a lot of them will associate with me with food. Yeah. I mean, this is like maybe it's an average day, but on some day you see the rats here now, so these will start coming to me. Um, so on some days, you'll have like birds sat here, you'll have them sat behind me. Hey, sweetheart, come on, baby. There you go. She wants some. He wants some pellets. I think that's a boy. Want some pellets? There you go. Get some pellets. Yeah. Once they go, if I put them there, the rats will come and sit there. Mm. Yeah, they'll take a couple of them and run off. There's a lot more energy in a couple of them. Bit of drama here. What's going on? What are you shouting about? He's wanting to come up onto the decking with his wife, and they're telling him he can't. So it's a bit of a challenge, and we'll see. I think he'll come up at some point. There we go. Yeah, so there we go. Battle. Yeah, so he's won. Now we should now see his female should come up now. There we go. Yeah, I think the trust thing is it's just time. Oh, sorry guys, I'm smoking a cigar here. I think the trust thing is time and I guess behavior. It's consistent behavior with them. This guy wants to hand feed. It's just consistent behavior. But yeah, like it's like 6 to 12 months maybe I think of this. But I'm also not sure. I think from what I've learned, I think if I now went to another river, another pond, I think I could do it much more quickly. I think I've kind of instinctively learned a lot, which I couldn't even put into words. But these jackdaws are starting to trust me a bit more. We get there's couple of different kind of gulls who'll come in. And one type of gull is starting to trust me. The seagulls never do. Seagulls they're like prehistoric dinosaurs, if you ask me. They're such a weird animal. I don't understand them. I don't connect with them. But maybe in time, because I said that about other ones. What, you want some more, buddy? Like you see this guy, right? I can kind of tell by the way he's kind of moving that he wants to feed. He's going to go and get a drink, and then he's going to come back and feed. Come on. Are you going to get chased off or what? Yeah, I think I missed my chance. He'll come back. Yeah, it's funny. Like when they want to feed, it's weird. They kind of like see like this guy kind of wants to, but he doesn't quite have the courage. We'll try him. Come on, man. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Come on. Kind of tempt him a little bit, but these guys are like more like beta males. These are like more bottom of the pack. Yeah, come on. And I tend to hand feed the seed because it's so difficult for them to pick up. And I used to hand feed the rat, the mother rat, the female rat. She's a lot bigger, and she would come over and she would hand feed from me as well. I haven't tried the babies yet. These are all babies that we see here. I've got a feeling that they would hand feed, but I want to give them a bit more time to get used to me. I don't think they'll nip me. But I just want to take my time with that. I mean, I did take a good few months to hand feed the adult rat. But they're very gentle animals, contrary to what people think. Oh, there's the no, that's a new pigeon. So that's a wood pigeon. So the other one that comes round, the baby that comes and sits next to me is obviously like a baby pigeon. Is a baby wood pigeon. I couldn't work out what it was because it didn't have the head coloring. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people hand feed birds, and they'll actually hand feed birds in their garden and stuff, like other wild birds. I've never been able to feed any like wild birds like that before, but where I lived before here, I was a little bit more in the woods, and I used to get I used to get a pheasant knocking on my window. Um, I'll get badgers coming, all kinds of things. So I think it's quite easy to befriend wild animals. It just requires, I think, a calm energy and like like consistency. And I'm guessing, I'm guessing. Well, you see it, don't you? You see it on YouTube. You see all kinds of people. You see that guy who does the hyenas. He knows how to deal with them. And again, they're similar to rats in that they're very misunderstood animals. They're thought as very horrible, aggressive animals, but they're some of the most gentle, loving towards human animals you can find. I mean, one of the fascinating things I find is how the rats will just live in complete harmony with the ducks. Um, and as long as they don't get like right within each other's, close proximity, they won't really bother each other too much. Occasionally, somebody will give the rat a peck and it'll jump and run, or if it's like if it's facing it, the rat will jump and bite it back. That's funny to see. Hmm. Sometimes if the rat's at my feet and it gets a bit of a fright, it can kind of jump up this high, like jump to try and escape whatever it's escaping. It almost jumps on me. Yeah, yeah, I think it does take time, and I've kind of learned like there's tricks to it. For example, like you see that guy kind of wants to, but he's not quite ready. So what you got to do, you got to put your hand out and you got to just hold it. You can kind of tempt him a little bit by like sort of cooing him in a little bit, but you've also got to bear in mind the other dynamics. Like that is probably a more dominant duck, and that's a more dominant duck. So if he comes too close, this guy's going to kick his ass. So you kind of got to be careful about who you invite in. So really, I've got to feed this guy before I feed the other guy. You've got to watch the sort of the dominance hierarchy of them. And there'll be times like, for example, if I'm feeding him, hey, see, so there's another one. She's slightly more dominant, but he might not feed. So you kind of got to watch because sometimes I can be feeding them, and I've got to be careful because if I'm blindsiding them and feeding them, and then another duck can come up behind them and attack them. So sometimes if I'm feeding them, I've got to stop and kind of say, watch your back. Yeah, it takes time. It takes time. And it takes time to do it well. But lots of people come down here and feed the ducks. And sometimes I'll be sitting here and somebody will come down, like a little kid will come and sit, and they'll, as I've been feeding them, they'll then put their hand out and then they'll feed from them as well. Probably the first time in their life they've come down and done it kind of thing. So, and I'm sure occasionally they'll feed from other people as well. But they'll read on people's energy, and it also depends how hungry they are. Like if I didn't come down for a couple of days and I came down the next day, sometimes I've got two hands out and I've got three or four birds feeding from each hand kind of thing. But these jackdaws are getting closer to me all the time. So they're beginning to trust. And the ducks, obviously, they interact with humans all the time. Loads of humans come down here and feed them. So they're more, they're more familiar. But these jackdaws are slowly, again, it's like one of them. It must be like yeah, that makes sense now. That does make sense. It's generally like the top dog of the species that makes the decision, because it was the male swan. And in swans, the male is definitely the more dominant. But in ducks, although it's nuanced and there's a lot of difference in this, in a sense, the females do carry a lot of power. In the height of breeding season, if they don't have a good partner, then a lone female will get absolutely destroyed by the other. Yeah, there's a lot more ducks in this actually. This isn't all of the ducks. There's but the female will get absolutely destroyed by the males. But if she's got a strong man around her, or it's not breeding season, well, if she's got a strong man around her, the female then carries a lot of most of the weight, and the male will let her feed first, for example. So yeah, so that makes me think. So yeah, it was the male swan, because he's just fully dominant all the time. He although she will have more control over the ducklings than the male, obviously. And then the female rat, I think, is a lot more dominant, because she will fight off the male once she has babies and send them packing. But you'll see like the little rats just kind of sitting there, and yeah, so it's spotted the food. I'm probably scaring it up with the camera movements, but at some point it'll just go and sit there between my feet. You're hungry? What do you want? You want some seed? Come on, then. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, he's hit and miss, that guy. And I can tell him because he's got that faded blue beak. There's another one that's got a faded blue beak, who's more faded, won't feed at all. He sometimes will, but he's pretty nervous. But I've also kind of trained them as well, because, like, if they come and feed from me, I'll give it to them, But I won't just like throw the food. Like a lot of them will just gesture for me to throw the food in front of them, but I won't do it. Sometimes I'll do it just to get rid of their hunger pangs, but mostly I'm like, no, if you want to, come and get it. But there's a limit to that, Like I have very little control, more bit of influence, I guess. Come on, son. I know you can do it. Come on, buddy. No, he's not interested. You coming? Yeah, a lot of the time, once they've got over their initial hunger. But there's another group of males. There's probably about another 10 to 12 males missing, and they haven't arrived yet. But there's a couple of males in there particular who will come and sit next to me, just right next to me, and they will feed from me directly. Yeah, I don't think there's too much more hand feeding going on this morning. I'll just pop some food out for them. You see how quickly they all wake up once they hear the food. Even the female comes running up. All females. And here's the gulls. So these are black-headed gulls. These are ravenous. Yeah, they do change their minds quickly. And it also depends upon the day. Like there's some days where they're literally behind me pecking my back. Just demanding food. And then there's some days when none of them will feed from me. Oh, there's a battle. Quickly over. Ducks are a very dominant. There's a very strong hierarchy, and it's kind of pretty much known like who's at what level. But there's constant challenges. Like the number 5 might challenge the number 4, and he might win for a while, and you got all kinds of things going on. They're going through hormone changes right now. They're losing their winter coats and stuff. So a lot of these boys, you see the browner one, they would have had this full coat here in the winter, and they're all losing that, and they'll go brown. And I think they don't really fly too much for the next month or so, and so their hormones drop, so that the females actually become more aggressive and stronger than them in these periods. So there's so much dynamic. Oh yeah, they'll chase, like the birds will fight amongst themselves. Like these gulls are super ravenous, but occasionally, like if see that mother there, if the female, if it gets too close to it, she will grab it and bite it. And I've seen one of these females, I think it was yesterday, almost on the back of one of these gulls biting at its neck. Um, but it's just whether the gull gets that close. I always thought the gull would win because of its sharp beak, but I think the gull the duck will just overpower the gull with its sheer size. But yeah, I've seen some great battles. I've seen rats on rats. I've seen rats on ducks. Uh, Ducks on ducks, obviously. Ducks on gulls. Um, Two ducks versus a seagull. Seagulls versus rats. And it's interesting because in your mind you kind of think it's going to go one way, and sometimes it goes the other way. And then sometimes it varies between animals, so it's not always an obvious win. But these gulls are actually pretty cool. I really didn't like them at first, but they're pretty cool. One of them's only got one leg, and he'll come over and stuff and get quite close to me, and I'll feed him, and he kind of warmed me to them. Oh, we just missed it there. So that gull just went behind that duck and just pecked it in the back, and then it jumped off into the water. So what's going on there? Yeah, so I get they're all ambushes. Birds are ambushes. So that's like a strength fight when they kind of put their beaks down and push each other. It's quickly over. Unless it's matched. If it's well matched, then they'll start trying to rip each other's feathers out. The rats are good at swimming as well, which is really interesting because you'll see them kind of just jump in the water, and yet they can swim to the other side of the river, no problem. Exactly. Yeah, they all fight, but they all coexist. They're short fights. There's kind of no hard feelings. There's new rules and boundaries that are set. Sometimes things it just maintains the order. The fight just keeps things in place. Sometimes the fight changes the order slightly. And yeah, all the animals, they'll just, they may fight. Sometimes you may get, all of the gulls, like 10 of them will come in and mob the ducks, and the ducks have to get out the way. But yeah, if you can see, they're all just coexisting here. They have their little tantrums and things like that, but they all live here pretty peacefully. It's really nice to see. There's no See this one here. That's the first time I've seen it. So that's the second time I've seen this one just randomly attack another duck from behind. But looks like a young male. He's in. Oh, so he's going after the female. Um, but he looks like a young male. He's in beautiful condition. So his head's still quite like browny browny gray rather than black, but his feathers are in like pristine condition. It's beautiful. So you can tell he's a young male. He's obviously full of testosterone, and he's so he's ready for a fight. Now, if you see, most of the other gulls are staying away from him. He's strutting his stuff right now. He's feeling tough. Yeah, he won't. I don't think he'll square up with a male dog like face to face, but he will try and ambush him. There, see that dirty. Oh, it's so dirty. So he won't take him from the front, but he will come behind him and try and bite the back of his head or the back of his body. It's fascinating, fascinating. What's the matter, sweetie? Yeah, are they getting you? Come here, come here, come on, sweetie. Yeah, he hits then runs. Proper cowardly attack. But on the same note, it's still brave him to do it in the first place. You guys coming? No. Look at these guys. Look how cute they are. You guys hungry? So these, like, they kind of they'll pair up like whilst they pair up, you know. So that's like a male and a female, and they'll pair up. A lot of people think they pair up for life. They don't. They'll pair up for like a season, like a bonding season. But anyway, I'm gonna go because people are starting to go, and starting to arrive and sit near me, and I'm always a bit conscious about sort of videoing around people and stuff. So anyway, it's been nice chatting to you, Nathan. Yeah. Okay, take it easy, buddy.